Hey everybody, so today I am going to do some follow-up on all of the comments that I got on my video about the boxers Lynn and Emaine. Mostly about Emaine, I hope I'm saying his name right. And yes, I am using male pronouns and I will with both of these people because I do believe in my heart of hearts and what my two eyes and brain tell me, I am looking at two men who quite possibly are lying to everyone. Okay. Now, in this video, I'm going to discuss the arguments from both sides and come to my conclusion and let you guys know what some of the arguments for and against are. So let's look at Emaine's first claim is that he was born a female. Okay. So many people are claiming DSD, and that is the case, I would assume. But again, this is all hearsay. There's not been any proof or documentation shown to me other than this one family book, which I had someone from Algeria explain to me. So over there in that culture, they keep what they call a family book, family records. And I can show you that here. And this is what a family book looks like. Now, basically translates, as far as I know, this could be false as well, but we don't even know if that's Emaine's actual family book. But from what the translators are saying, that his gender marker was changed in the family book, and those stamps, like passport stamps, are official government stamps saying, okay, we are moving from a male gender marker to a female gender marker. In 2018, that's when his boxing career started as a female. So is it real? Is it his? Does it belong to his family? Is that what it really says? Because it's written in a language I don't understand. I'm only going off of what I've read online. And believe me, people, I'm doing the research, but so much stuff comes out about this so quickly. It seems like every hour there's a different story or a different way to look at it and a different person's perspective. I'm just giving you my perspective with what I've read so far. And like I said, the point that I really, really, really want to drive home on this whole issue is the deception, if you will. And I do believe deception could be the right word when it comes to Emaine and his team, whether it's his family and his boxing team. Sorry, you guys, I have wardrobe malfunction. This is what I was out grocery shopping today. His team is being very guarded with all of his information, in my opinion. And it does not help me get persuaded in any other direction other than he is a man when all I hear is the IOC saying it's none of your business, it's private, the records are confidential. It's a constant barrage of deflection and redirection. If these people, the IOC and Emin's team, were completely transparent with everything that they are claiming, I think it would be a lot easier for the general public and society to accept whether or not he is a female or a male. Okay, so like I said, I am so tired of the deception and being misled with information that may or may not be true and not able to back it up with proof. So then we come to that morality issue. Like, is it against his human rights to make him disclose gender markers, his birth certificate, his actual sex? Like, so I just read a complaint back in the 20th century, they said the battle days, where sex testing was pretty much a regular thing in the Olympics. And they've gotten rid of sex testing because so many people complain. And we had athletes like CC Telfer. So this is Caster Semenya. I hope I'm saying that right. This was a South African track and distance runner who claimed they were intersex and were always racing in the female division. This is another example of being disingenuous or just whatever you want to call it, bold-faced lying. There is no way that is a woman, okay? Nothing about these photos tell me that they are a woman. And yes, that's probably a little evil of me to say, but the thing that's driving me crazy is how secretive everybody's being about everybody's situation. Now, I get it. Like, do I want the world to know what my previous name was? Probably not. But do I care if anybody finds out I was a guy? Of course not. Look at me. If you can't tell by looking at me, I'm a biological man. There's no getting around that. So it's hard for me to believe anybody when everybody's being disingenuous, okay? And that's the problem. So now let's talk about why I think these guys, him and him, are biological males. Okay, so to dive into the intersex conditions a little bit, it's almost mind numbing the amount of developmental sexual disorders that there are in the world. So the DSDs, I believe that with Khalif, this is what we were dealing with. I believe he is a person who has developed or who was born with a sexual disorder called CAIS. And that stands for complete androgen insensitivity syndrome. And it causes a genetic male to have a vagina, develop almost nearly every physical part of a female's body except for the ovaries. It will develop a clitoris, breasts. The urinary canal will be retracted inside the body, but their ovaries are testicles, and they will have an XY chromosome. So that's why this whole thing is just very, very complicated. I will give everybody that. It is a complicated situation if it is in fact the situation. And we can see that his parents didn't know maybe what the sexual disorder was when the child was born. So you have to admit that a lot of children can be androgynous, okay? Kids can be malleable at that age, especially this age, where you can give them pigtails, a little bit of eyeshadow, whatever, dress them as a girl. And he presents very feminine right here in this picture, not gonna lie. But you look at the picture right next to it, look at the kneecaps, look at the shoulders, the arms, everything in my brain and what my eyes tell me, that is a biological man. Whether he has male genitalia externally, I don't know that fact. So I can't say for sure that he developed external gonads, but I guarantee he has them. Okay. That's what gives him the XY chromosome. And that's also why I argue so strongly that he is a man, or even if we were to categorize him as a female, he still went through puberty with natural free testosterone. Now, natural testosterone is stronger than synthetic testosterone. I know I've taken steroids, and along with anabolic steroids, it's a package. You take a synthetic testosterone, you take either a D-bol or Anadrol, and there's a couple other pills you can take along with it, but mostly it's shots. And so synthetic testosterone will grow muscles massively, but as a child, when you go through puberty, your body is producing what they call natural free testosterone. Now, when I get my tests back from my doctor, it has testosterone and free testosterone. So that's excess testosterone. And that's what I'm getting at. As a child goes through puberty, the body is just crazy. The hormones are going bananas, right? They're just generating tissue and creating muscles and the connective tissue. That's what's important to me, and that's why I will address Khalif and Lean, the other guy, as a man. In most cases, doctors will tell parents when the child is born with an intersex condition, you should probably raise them as a female because most of the time their gonads, whether or not they drop or not, they're not going to be operable. So it's best to raise them as a female. Now you can look at the baby and say, it looks more like a boy, so we're going to go with male. They can be raised however, okay, however the parents want. And that's just one more issue in this big mess that we are in with this thing. And you know what? Bottom line is we're just trying to protect women. Another argument that I'm getting is that Lean and Khalif were not undefeated, dominating like the two MMA fighters, Fallon Fox and Alana McLaughlin, who are absolutely the most disingenuous people on the planet, especially Fallon Fox, because he disguised the fact that he was a man and lied on the MMA application sheets and was fighting women that did not know he was a biological man up until his very last two fights, I think. And then he finally got beat by a woman, mostly because he was not a very talented fighter. He was winning all of his fights on physical strength and not his abilities. So I believe that's the case. I've seen a few of Khalif's fights, and the Lean fight I haven't watched yet, but looking at the pictures and the highlights, they're both getting medals this year, both of these clowns. So the point that I'm trying to make, because I'm getting a lot of comments on my videos, and I appreciate them, good or bad. Like whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I appreciate the comments because I want to get to the bottom of this myself. I have very strong opinions and views on this because I am an athlete and I was a professional athlete, meaning that was my support system. I had to perform well in sports in order to support myself and pay the bills. So that's why this is so important to me. You guys know that. I don't even know why I bothered saying that. So like I said, I'm doing this video to address a lot of the comments that I'm getting, and I want to, I don't know, double down, if you will, on my previous statements that these two boxers are, in fact, biological males. I don't care whether they were raised as females, their gender marker says female on their birth certificate or not, they both went through male puberty, plain and simple. You can see it in their body development and you can see it in their mannerisms. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know the difference between a man and a woman physically. They both present as very masculine people. And what makes it unfair is the fact that they have XY chromosomes, and regardless of their testosterone levels, they have a physical advantage over natural born females. That's undisputable in my opinion. Of course, you're welcome to disagree with me on this, and as long as you do it respectfully, it's cool. I do lose my temper a lot. I will say this: a few of my comments I've been a little heated, but I try and keep it peaceful as best I can. But I just get so frustrated with society has this insane belief that these two guys deserve to be recognized as women. So my argument probably comes down to a not just a moral issue, but rights and privileges. So we all have the right to privacy. We have the right to human decency. But where do we draw the line? Who gets to decide the difference between a right and a privilege? So when someone's self-perceived entitlement supersedes the safety of another, then we have to draw the line. Like I said in my first video, and I stand by this, when's it going to stop? Is it going to take a female dying in sport in order to get us to draw a hard line on this trans inclusion thing? And I think a lot of it also, like I said, the self-perceived issue with Khalif and Lean, in my opinion, they have zero integrity. Because if they did, they would do the right thing. They would stand down from the women's division. I would love to ask Emaine or Lean why they feel they deserve to be in the women's division. And there's that word again. Do they deserve? No, they have a privilege. And unfortunately, the sanctioning bodies, the powers that be in these sports organizations, have decided to let their free will run amok over everybody else's rights and safety. So women deserve a fair chance at sport, and they also deserve not to be injured. And if it comes down to that, I still have serious doubts that the world would put an end to it. There would still be people that want to deceive everyone, claim this intersex or claim trans. They've been on testosterone blockers for so long, so they're biologically equivalent to a female, and that is just not true. It will never be true. And I've said this before, no amount of testosterone suppression will negate the advantages gained through male puberty. That is one of the most basic principles when it comes to the human body and hormones. And like I said, I just wish we could all know the truth. Like, there's so much information coming out on both sides. Both of these boxers went through male puberty, plain and simple. They should not be in the women's division. How they identify doesn't change their physical characteristics. They still have masculine traits, jawlines, muscle structure, bones. Look at the two of these guys. They are men, straight up men. Their facial features have zero femininity to it. And I know that drives people crazy, but when I say that, but it's reality. And that's what I want everybody to understand. Does it suck for these two boxers? Yes, it does. It sucks that they were born this way. Is it their fault? No, it's not their fault. But we have to acknowledge the fact that they are the way they are, and you can't change it. Okay? They have a physical advantage. They're going to injure someone. But they need to understand that life isn't fair. When I was a child, I wanted nothing more than to be an Air Force fighter pilot. But guess what? I was born deaf in one ear. That immediately disqualifies me from being in any armed services. I also wanted to be in the NBA. I was not tall enough. Does that suck? Sure, of course. Do I live with it? Yes. It's not a big deal. You find other ways to get through life and still be happy. And to be a little bit catty, I will say that watching both of them fight, they're not very good boxers, in my opinion. And being that I do have 8 years of kickboxing under my belt, I can honestly say neither of these two are quite talented. And I believe that a lot of their victories are coming from their physical advantage and strength and size. So to the boxers and to all the people who support them being female, life sucks. You don't always get what you want, and sometimes you just got to make the best of it. My advice would be to identify as a female, enter the men's division, and try and kick some butt and show the world how good you could do. My trans friend Justice, who I've had on my channel before, is doing just that. She is competing in the men's boxing division because that's what she wants to do, and she knows right from wrong. Like, she's got common sense and morals. She's an amazing person. I would love to sit down with either of these two. I would love to know why they so strongly believe that they are women and that they should be competing against women. Is it because they aren't strong enough, they've sparred with men, and they totally get dominated or beaten? Like I said, it's so controversial, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sorry this video was a little bit choppy, but my head's a mess. I've been arguing on Twitter and YouTube all day. I just want women to be protected in the end. That's what my goal is, and you guys already know that. So be sure and like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you have any questions, or if you want to come on my show, let me know. I'd be happy to have anybody on, and let's talk it out. See ya.